Brother Nashi, how are you? Please post my story as anonymous. I am a Zimbabwean woman who came to South Africa a very long time ago. My husband, he was the first one to come to South Africa. Then I followed him on a spouse visa. My husband, he was a doctor. He started working at a government hospital here in Joburg. When I followed, I also applied for a job, but I was now working in the private sector. Life was okay. Me and my husband, we did not have a problem at all. My husband, he loved fast cars. Even when we were still in Zim, he loved to drive these small fast cars, and I hated them. My husband, he died of a terrible accident. He was on a motorcycle, and I cautioned him and I said, I don't want you to be buying these motorcycles. I don't trust them. Anything that has two wheels, I can't trust it. He had joined a bike gang, and whenever he was not at work, they would go out and drive and return back home. So one day he went out and I said, do you see that the sky is too dark? How about you just go tomorrow? Because if it rains, it is going to be slippery. I don't think that you would want to be on the road whilst it is raining. So my husband, he had a problem. Even though we were both doctors, we had tried everything, all kind of remedies. We had tried Western medicine, we had tried traditional stuff, and we had tried even Chinese meditation, but it did not work. My husband, he was someone that suffered from anxiety, but he had hidden this anxiety through the time when we were in university. That was when I started to know about it. When he was working as a doctor, he hid this condition very well. No one even knew that my husband, he was suffering from anxiety. And whenever he will have this anxiety, what he will do, he would look for something that will give him an adrenaline rush, like running or just doing things that will give him an adrenaline rush. That was why he loved to drive these fast cars. When he would drive them really fast for a very short period of time, this will give him the adrenaline rush, and then the anxiety will fade away. So when he bought this motorcycle, I was scared that when he is doing this short burst of just overspeeding, maybe it will affect him, causing him to have a terrible accident. But my husband, he told me that this was the only way that he could feel better, because there were days when my husband would enter into his gym room and punch and punch and punch the wall until he starts to bleed. When he is bleeding, he will say that I am feeling a little bit better. So on that day, he told me that he was feeling anxious about something and he did not know what it was about. And then he went out. He said, I'm going for a short drive, then I returned back. And then he went and he never came back. As he was driving on the N1, my husband, he was doing his short overspeeding so that he can have the adrenaline rush, but it was starting to rain. The road was slippery. There was a truck that was in front of him. My husband was dragged underneath the truck for a little while because the driver did not even know that this was what had happened. And when my husband was trying to overtake that truck, that was when something bad happened. No one really knows, but there were people that were witnesses that said that there was an oncoming vehicle. Maybe that was what made my husband to go underneath the truck, and he was crushed to death. I then received a phone call and we rushed to the hospital, and we saw that indeed it was my husband. So my husband, he passed away. We went with him to Zim, and I felt as if my world came crashing down on me. I was heartbroken. I came back to South Africa as a heartbroken woman. And my husband, when he passed away, we had a beautiful estate. We had properties in Harare, and we had investments in South Africa. I was already a woman that had a good status, a working doctor, and within a year, a man that was my foundation, he had left me in a foreign country, and then I met a South African man. By 2009, I had already settled down with that South African man, but he left me with nothing. This man, he came into my life and then he divorced me. He manipulated me when I was grieving over my husband. He did not break my heart. He used legal loopholes to strip me of everything. He stole the estate that my husband had left for me. And when he divorced me, he left me without a home, without nothing. And then I moved back to Zim and I started staying at one of our houses, which was in Avondale. This man, he even wanted some of the properties that I had in Zim. Like, I had made a mistake into marrying a gold digger, and he was very good at his love game, even though he was taking away everything from me. There were days when he would come back into my life, sleep with me, and I would forget about some of the evil things that he was doing to me. Then the pain will continue as well. And when I was in Zim, that was when I got this anger, wanting him to suffer as he had made me to suffer. And I wanted him to never ever do that to any person ever again, to hurt a woman in such a cruel way. That was when I spoke with this other friend of mine who had faced a lot of difficulties in her marriage because her husband was someone that was a cheater, but all of a sudden he was someone that was now going to church. And I did not understand what had happened. It was not possible with the way that I knew the husband. He was just the cheating type. I then spoke with my friend and I said that I wanted him to tell me how she had managed to make a husband to go back to church. And then she told me about this other traditional healer where she had gone to. And she said, if you want, I can give you the phone numbers. And I said, how about you take me there? Because I was afraid. I had never been to a traditional healer in my entire life. So we got onto the car, me and my friend. Then we went to Chipinge. This was the first time that I had ever gone to the places like Mutarim and Chipinge. We walked after we had arrived in this other village, and they told us that our car, it was too small. It was not going to make it to the top of the mountain because this traditional healer stayed on the other side of the mountain, which was close to the Mozambican border. And when I arrived at the traditional healer's place, that woman, she looked at me and she said that she was going to assist me. And we later became friends. I would regularly visit her because I wanted my businesses to grow big. As I was doing these rituals, that was when she said that she wanted me to do a ritual in which I was going to be drinking the blood of a cat. And she already had a black cat that she had in her compound. So they caught that cat and then they slaughtered the cat, and I was told to drink the blood. I returned back to Harare. Life continued as normal, and I would be in South Africa as well as I would be in Zim running my businesses. As for that guy that I was dating, he was shot dead. He was found in someone else's house, and he was with the wife of that man who ended up shooting him. But what was surprising about this, Brother Nashi, was that I had a dream about this a couple of days before it had happened. I was chasing that man with a gun, and I was telling him that I wanted him dead. He kept on crying and saying, why do you want me dead? And I was like, because of what you did to me. My husband built this wealth for me, and then you came into my life and you hurt me and you stole the wealth that belonged to my children. Why did you do that to me? And he kept on crying, saying, I want you to feel sorry for me. Please feel sorry for me. It happened, but I did not want it to happen. I am really sorry for what I did to you. And then I shot him. I shot him, Brother Nashi, in that same spot where I shot him in my dreams. That was where I heard that he was shot by the husband of the man that he was cheating with. I continued with my life, and then 2 years ago, I had a dream. I have my daughter who is in the UK. So my daughter, she was caught by her husband. She was doing drugs. And then my son-in-law called me. My daughter is a nurse in the United Kingdom. And right now, she is addicted to drugs. They have not yet notified anything about this. All that I told them was that I do not want you to allow her to continue going to work. As for now, she is supposed to be on her leave. Make her to stay at home, and then you take her to rehab, at least in secret, so that it won't destroy her career. My daughter, I don't know what has happened to him. I am supposed to go to the UK, and what has stopped me from going to the United Kingdom to see my daughter and to know what is happening to him? It is the dreams that I have been having. Like I told you about this guy that I was dating, and then I saw that this guy, he had cheated me, and I went to Chipinge to do the rituals. So now in my dreams, the kind of dreams that I am having, Brother Nashi, is that I see myself killing my daughter with a knife. So my daughter is being violent towards my son-in-law, and there are times when my son-in-law calls me, and then he tells me that when he returns back from work, he can see my daughter, his wife, holding a knife, and he has not yet reported her to the police because he does not want other people to know about this. So I'm scared that this occultic stuff that I did, maybe there is something bad that is supposed to happen between my daughter and her husband. Maybe she is going to kill her husband. I wish that I can stop her from taking drugs, from being violent, but I keep on having a dream where I see myself stabbing my daughter to death, as well as being followed at all the times. There is a cat that follows me. This cat, I can even see it in my car. There was a day when I was driving alone. I ended up booking at this other hotel, and I stayed there because I was afraid to continue with my trip. I was driving back to Zim, and then I saw that at the back seat there was a cat that was there, and I just felt afraid. Lucky enough, in about 5 kilometers, there was a hotel that was there, and I drove to that hotel, booked a room, and I stayed there because I was scared to drive back to Joburg, and I was afraid to continue with my journey going to Zim. And now I do not even drive at night. I am always afraid. And even when I am in my house, this cat, I always see it outside. If I just look outside, I can see the cat maybe on top of the Jura wall. I can see the cat walking on the pavement or walking on the lawn. That traditional healer who used to be my friend, she passed away. She was quite an old woman. When I returned back, her children, they told me that they had a big fight in the family, and I was supposed to return back when the fighting had stopped because they could not assist me whilst they were still fighting, because they were fighting for the things that she was using to consult when people would come into a shrine. So those things that were powerful, all her grandchildren, they wanted to become the next powerful traditional healer. So I went there several times, and I kept on getting robbed because one of the grandchildren will make me to pay, and then he will take me to the grandmother's grave and we'll do rituals there, but the cat will still continue following me. And I would go back. Another one will say that you paid your money for nothing. Let us do this. Then it is going to be okay. I have 2 granddaughters who have a rare autoimmune disease. It is something that is unimaginable. 2 of my granddaughters, they suffer from that rare disease. And my children, they don't even know that their mother is a ritualist. I don't know if I am going to survive this because I have a tendency of imagining how it will be like to kill myself. I am becoming suicidal because I feel as if the end is near for me. Brother Nashi, I am writing this to you because I do not want someone else to go through the same stuff that I went through. If you have recently lost your husband and you are wealthy, know that you are like someone that is walking around with a target on her back. The men that will come to you, it does not necessarily mean that they love you, but they will love your manifest. Then something will come next, and you need to find a way to protect the wealth that your husband would have left for you. I made the mistake by chasing after a handsome South African man, and I am guilty because I also lured him into my life, using my money on him, wanting to show him that I am an independent woman, and he stole my properties. This is my confession. When you post, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our DM sister. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Let us talk about this in the comment section. I'll be back with another episode.